I'm making a 3-part series, and I'm working on that. So this next part I'm about to show you is miscellaneous things to do with transhumanism, about how they're filling our bodies up with poison and attacking us with all these different types of weapons to try to control us, right? And it's about fear, because there's a lot of people that are being tortured by the government, and it's happening all over the world. You think you're safe from this, you're not safe. So you can't ignore it. You have to help me, because everybody's been infected with it, okay? They used to call them RFID chips, but now they're so small they can spray them into the air, and now they're inside of everybody's blood streams. So this is very real and very true, because many scientists are finding it in there. They're putting in everything, in the air, in the food, in the water, in medicine. They're putting it in makeup, in perfume, and a lot of stuff that they're doing it in secret because they don't want you to really know what you're taking or whatever. But I'm letting you know that it's literally in everything now, because they're trying to force everybody into being this non-human, post-human species. Just finding it in humans, they're finding it in all types of animals, squirrels. They're finding filaments and hydrogel structures grown inside of cats, your pets. Venison, which is deer meat that someone hunted from Pacific Northwest, has polymers, filaments, and nanoparticles in it. So when you eat it, it's going into your body. So not only are you breathing it in, when you eat it, it's getting into you that way. So they're all out attack on us every possible way that they can get it into us. They're doing it. Being a vegan, I can at least try to wash the plants off and get it off of the plant, right, before I eat it. But when you're eating an animal, it bioaccumulates in it, so there's no way to get it out of the animal. They said when they even expose this stuff to hot, superheated temperatures, it doesn't kill it. So it's in the meat, and it's especially found more in people's blood that are in a carnivore diet. And I'm just passing this information along.
Another of this show's recurring guests has a food-related find of her own to report. Dr. Anna Mahalcha says that her own research has found that nanotechnology is already present inside of store-bought meat. She says that she's proving the presence of nanotech through electrical conductivity tests and simply by observing the meat herself. Well, Dr. Mahalcha says that odd structures resembling tube worms keep showing up in the meat that she buys, and she thinks that these nanotech worms are sickening the people who eat them. Sickening them with what? Well, Dr. Mahalcha isn't sure of that yet, but she has hypothesized that the symptoms that it produces could be the real cause of so-called long COVID. Very interesting. Dr. Mahalcha joins us now to go into more detail. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. So we remember that originally this platform was one of the first to expose the findings of La Quinta Columna, that graphene oxide was in the vials of these shots. Nobody can deny that there were countless videos going around on YouTube and before they were banned and various other social media platforms of people and meat in the stores being magnetic. Is this the reason you believe that that's happening?
Well, the magnetism hasn't been proven, and so it's very interesting. Let me give you a little bit of background. I was doing actually electrical conductivity studies on unvaccinated blood, and as well as using a low-level electrical current with Clifford Carnicum on unvaccinated blood, which showed the rapid growth of structures. The blood was transformed into something, a filament network that was unrecognizable. Then we did infrared spectroscopy and found similar chemical signature in unvaccinated blood that appeared to be related to hydrogel, similar findings that he did for over 30 years in his Morgellons or cross-domain bacterial research. So then I was contacted by Dr. David Jernigan, who developed a spectral emission frequency signature methodology of actually figuring out what exactly is in the clots. And what he did was he took a cadaver clot, identified its frequency, and then one of his family members got sick, and he tested that family member, and it had that frequency of the cadaver clot. So So then, this was right after they ate some meat. He tested the meat, and the meat had that frequency as well. So then what happened was he called me and he said, Dr. Anna, everything that you've been saying about the infrared spectroscopy is correct and the electrical conductivity. I want you to go and buy some meat at your local grocery store and do live blood analysis and see what's in it because I'm getting this frequency. So what I did was I just went to the grocery store and bought a bunch of meat products, ground beef, organic, non-organic, pork, liver, and as well as some half and half milk that was non-organic. And I looked at it under the microscope. And so the same structures that I believe actually a hydrogel, possibly combined with carbon nanotube or graphenes, were in there. And I'm not saying that the only source of this contamination is from the meat product, but I do understand that the food supply could be part of it. And I do believe that shedding is part of it. I do believe that geoengineering is part of it because we found the same structures in rainwater and atmospheric testing they've been found. So this is a multiverse assault on humanity. But
has anybody been noticed people are acting strange? Even people that didn't take the shot? Well, it's because of this. Because their blood has been infected with all sorts of stuff, nanoparticles, nanobots, smart dust, synthetic biology, and basically the human race is finished, and there's only a few of us that can tell what's going on here, and this is what the people I'm trying to reach, because we're the ones that can do something about it, because we haven't had a chemical lobotomy yet. But it's in the process of happening to a lot of us, because a lot of us are falling for a lot of these gatekeepers that are trying to sell us stuff to detox and everything. But the only thing I heard of that works is the borax, the detox bath or whatever, and praying and fasting and believing in God. Alright? So any type of real scientist or microscoper that's looking in people's blood, everybody's blood has this stuff in it. 100% infection rate. So as you can see, it all goes together. 5G, 6G, Wi-Fi, Li-Fi, Hu-Fi, W-band networks. I don't even know what Hu-Fi is. But the LED lights, direct energy weapons out on poles and things. We're being surrounded because we're being tracked and traced, and we're being murdered. Slow killed. They're giving us turbo cancer and everything. Whatever they can do to kill us so we don't try to fight back. Even the AI is smarter than most of these scientists, because the AI, Chat GPT and Grok, I don't use them, but I got this from someone else. They admitted that this stuff that they're seeing growing inside the vaccine is microelectrical mechanical systems, which is smart dust that comes from airplanes. It's sprayed from chemtrails, right? They look exactly like the stuff they're finding in the vaccine, and they're finding it in people's bloodstreams. Engineered biohybrid structure. Not biological, not natural. They're finding tons of strange, unknown life forms and cells that are not normal to this earth. I'm not saying it's from aliens, but I am saying it's from the government, which is ran by demons. So a graphene quantum dot penetrates your blood cell, it infects it, it grows inside of that, and it builds an antenna inside your body, and it connects you to the wireless network, Internet of Bodies. This is how that looks in real life. So this person found these things in uninjected blood. But this is a new invention they came out with. This is how small it is. But in real truth, that it's way, way smaller than this, to where we can't even see it with the naked eye. It's nanoparticles. This is from the transhumanist actual science papers. So this isn't a conspiracy theory or made up. They made this. They're showing exactly what they're doing here to the human body. Your brain, your heart, your veins, arteries, everything. Hydrogel swimmers, fractal graphene antennas, graphene quantum dots, nano routers, all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. They started testing this stuff on people long before COVID. They're using microwave weapons on U.S. citizens. And then when they created Space Force, them and the CIA started going into full throttle attacking people. They're called targeted individuals. And then after that, they injected billions with this nanoparticles, right? And they use these microwave weapons to make it easier to attack people. So that's what's in the air, food, water, and that's why they're surrounding us with these weapons and cell phone towers.
If you think about it, Seth, it's like the 666, that in the Bible it says they were going to put it, on her hand or, in her head or wherever. This is what they're doing. And we're becoming transhuman. And so you can't give in to this. You have to understand what they're doing. This is, like you said earlier, who's benefiting from this? The people that want to control the masses, the people that want to be the kings of the earth, the people that want us to be serfs again.
According to the Telecommunication Networks page, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things Project, or IOBNT, explores that intersection.
So it's about communication at a nanoscale.
Precisely. Current wireless systems use radio wave, but nano devices, especially those interacting with cells or in tricky environments like liquids, need new approaches such as molecular communication.
What sort of applications are we talking about?
Think precision medicine, monitoring inside the human body, or coordinating action with nano devices and external networks.
So it's not just one type of communication being used?
Exactly. Radio, ultrasonic, and molecular communication are integrated within 6G plus wireless networks.
This sounds incredibly complex. What methodologies are involved?
It ranges from theoretical modeling and info analysis to computer simulations and experiments.
And what are the expected outcomes of this project?
Characterizing in-body communication, new methods for molecular communication, simulation tools, and experimental validations, among other things.
What are the long-term goals of the IOENT platform?
The aim is to connect the human body's biological domain with the digital world of 6G plus networks.
The world. Now, how they were going to achieve that and how they have achieved it to some degree is by injecting people with these contaminants. Okay, the COVID-19 injectables. So the whole COVID pandemic was all about human augmentation. Now, what I'm going to say, people involved in this in certain areas, all weapons programs are compartmentalized for a reason. All right, so the people who are drafting up this human augmentation narrative, right, probably don't know what's really going on. Okay, but that's no defense in law. You're trying to destroy God's creation. It's no defense, really, because ignorance was never a defense. So inside the COVID-19 injectables, there was a number of nanotechnologies. Okay, now the whole purpose of this is this digital collaboration. Okay, this digital twin that they're currently trying to create. That's why they need all these major super duper computer processing data space. Got to do that, otherwise they're not going to be able to get away with this. Okay, it's all part of the digital infrastructure, and here you have bioengineering. So these are bioengineers. Okay, so it's biology connected with the digital world. Okay, so that's who's orchestrating this. We've got the same nonsense going on over in the United Kingdom. Most people think that a digital ID is basically to track, hack, and basically control their movements, etc. Well, it is that. It's a little bit more in depth due to the fact that it's a biological hack. So the biologically hack you, how we know that is what was discovered in the COVID-19 injectables. An external connectivity to the grid, all part of this digital. So a lot of people have already been hacked. Now we know that these biophotons at a very, very small scale, so in the nano scale, you'll find, in the quantum world, the total connectivity between the biological structure and electromagnetic radiation processes. It's well known, right, that all living cells have electromagnetic radiation fields, because you're basically an electromagnetic radiation entity. Okay, ultra-weak photon levels can affect the biological, what you perceive to have a biological structure. Okay, so the standard that they're currently using to track, hack, and control the biological entity is the IAEA 802 15.6 Medical Body Area Network, or MIOT. This is 5G, by the way. This is your 5th generation interface, and what they need to interface is large number of sensors, etc. Right? What's actually called fusion. Okay, so you've got a fusion signal optimization solution. Right? This is London. It's only one city. There's lots and lots of cities who have this now. All modes of transport. This is the IAEA 802 15.6 standard. And as you'll see, this goes down to a mesoscopic scale. Now, we've been told recently in a court case that Transport for London aren't doing this. However, this is a collaboration with them to actually do it. Okay, multimodal, diverse population, and they can then prioritise what they perceive. So going back to the compartmentalisation of weapon systems, this is so they can prioritise the passage of objects in the network. So through the transport network, they can then prioritise persons, cyclists, generally the general population. So They're using this experiment, obviously, to gather more data for their digital twin project. Transport for London are spending multiples of billions on data storage as we speak, because obviously to control the person at a bio level, at a nano level, you need a lot and lots of processing capability. Okay, so this living laboratory, what we discovered is this. We discovered this transcranial scanner. Obviously, that would be very, very assistive to harvest, let's say, the terror when people are activated to give them, cancers and stuff there, to harvest the negative. So the digital twin, the negative harvesting the backhaul, that's 5G backhaul, and the negativity using this, because that really is what do you need to scan people's brains for? I mean, that's it's a bit over the top. Now, what we also discovered was the Neurostrike laser weapon and a 32 phased array back. So you see, the people who are deploying this, supposedly for the easing of transport, are basically mass irradiating people. Now, I've been told that these are motion sensors. No, that's not true. It is dual purpose. They can do motion sensing, but they're not that. So what we discovered was this. It's a phased array 32 cavity-backed weapon system. Okay, so that's what's causing this scanning. Yeah, these people are being mass irradiated. This will cause cancer. These are high frequency technologies at very, very close proximity to the victim. Right? Not at a distance at all. In fact, you've got several units all spraying radiation into the same space. So you see you've got several. It's a good image this to show how much radiation people are being exposed to from what I'm going to tell you is a dual purpose motion sensor, but it's not. It's phased array. And phased array, as anybody who's watched any of my back sort of data, so the data that we've put up on the Substack, you'll know that this to be your weapons system. So going back to the compartmentalised weapons deployment. So the people that have deployed this, and this is a weapon system, okay, carry back phased array antennas, right, are being told by the local authority that they're not phased array, they're not using phased array. However, that's exactly what this unit, which was removed from these radar pieces of hardware. So there's your cavity backed, obviously operating in the higher frequencies, not safe, obviously for 5G in this space.